Each year, mining companies spend millions of dollars, months of time, and vast amounts of human resources on producing annual sustainability reports, press releases, and brochures.
In our sustainability consulting with companies around the world, we find that corporate sustainability reports are rarely read by certain key stakeholders. Instead, we see that these audiences increasingly trust video and social media networks for their information about who's doing what and how it affects their communities.
These social networks are also where stakeholders share their own views, positive or negative, informed or misinformed, about mining companies and their activities. To explore this digital age and the sustainable mining dialogue, Resource Initiatives convened a panel of industry experts from the world's leading mining companies: Barrick Gold, Newmont Mining, Rio Tinto, Gold Fields, and Inmet Mining. At the 2013 Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Conference, these executives shared their views and experiences on the use of new media in the sustainability dialogue.
Today's session is sponsored and produced by Resource Initiatives, which is a consulting firm helping the world's leading mining companies and industry organizations communicate their contributions to sustainable development through custom research publications, short films, and presentations at events around the world.
Thank you very much, Tim. Welcome, and thank you all for attending today's session. Social media has become a hot topic in the mining industry. But really video, when either you're seeing, God forbid, a violent protest, or you're seeing a school open for the first time, an agricultural project going on, and you see people able to develop sustainable livelihoods, seeing it on video makes you believe it more, because you're seeing with your own eyes.
What we realized is there is a certain demographic that only gets their news on social media. And if we don't engage, then we're missing that audience. The other really big reason was to engage with stakeholders in a way that enabled us to dialogue instead of just shooting messages out.
All of us here, we operate very remote businesses that are not generally accessible to stakeholders who have an interest. It's not like a factory that you can go tour down the road, or a Starbucks that you can go walk into and have an association with that brand. So social media offers a great way to give people a real personal connection to our operations, to get a sense of what they look like, to how they work, what we're doing in the communities, and it really does expand the way we're able to communicate those things to our audiences. So I think it's very important to understand the audience that you're trying to reach, because what we find is there's a huge difference depending on geography, the subject matter. It's not a singular audience around the world, so you really have to understand who you're trying to reach.
Speaking quickly on social media and speaking briefly on social media are very big changes for the mining industry. So
You use the words quickly and briefly, which, as we know, our colleagues in the legal departments don't really like either of those adverbs.
We really have to be very careful about keeping to the timing of social media.
So there's dialogue going on about our companies, within our companies, directed at, directed by our companies on all these different platforms every minute of the day. How do we go about monitoring this activity? Can you monitor it? How do you measure your own company's reach through your social media programs? And how do you stay on top of what's being said?
In the old days, when we wanted to know what our communities, our stakeholders were saying about us, we'd have to do surveys, focus groups, and that was expensive, and it took a long time, and you also looked at your sample and said, is this valid? Now you've got it instantaneously, and to me that's really good, because you can course correct on your communications immediately to talk about what people are interested in, not just what corporate communications would like to say.
Social media enables real-time public perception measurement for the first time in the mining industry. Instant feedback from diverse stakeholders is now available via Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other networks.
The media, and social media particularly, have the power to set agendas.
And I think that there's real potential in the industry for companies together to work to discuss the issues that companies are facing and do it more on an industry term rather than just promoting necessarily the brand.
See this as a way to manage risk. And for that, we need to get out ahead of it. And we need to see and understand how people interact with social media and how we can use and we can leverage that platform, it's that community, that stakeholder engagement.
Again, it's a company, but we're trying to humanize a company which is run by people.